Supporting V8 Hot Stocks plus the Brisca F1 final and Grand National, sponsored by Neil's Duxbury Motors tonight. Here we go with our first race of the day then, the white and yellow grade championship plus a few Dutch drivers, making a grid of 24 cars. Names to look out for include number 326 there of Mark Sargent, number 45 Nigel Harry. There's a couple of our Dutchmen, Rick Vobers in number 14 and H179 of Sjaak Kenty. Steve North, one of our newcomers, starting from the back of the field in number 18. This one, Graham Robson on a return to racing as well. Good to see him back out in 267. At the back, 293 Elliot Smith is in there. 215 veteran campaigner Jeff Nichols starts alongside Richard Woods in 268. In front of the grid, it will be Jack France in 216 who leads them off. 451 of Martin Spires collects a marker tyre there from the off. Aaron Cousins pulling off in car number 76 as well. There's a spinner on the first turn. That's going to create a bit of a pile-up. That's Jordan Winners, the Dutchman in 575. That's taken out Elliot Smith, Dave Willis, and somebody else that has Jeff Nichols in there in 215. So a typically lively start here at Kings Lynn as round goes. Tom Hollingworth in 258, facing the wrong way in the green car. 483 Wayne Marshall under fire there from the number 30. That's Romke Groendijk, the Dutchman. Plenty of Netherlands racers here. Few of them on their British debuts tonight, with Jack France, number 216, recently took his first ever Brisca F1 win in a Grand National at Bellevue, who leads the way around the first couple of laps. Only 10 laps this race. He's already clear of Martin Chadwick in one of the Matt Newson hire cars in second place. Wayne Marshall third, Romke Groendijk is fourth. Nigel Harry rounding out the top five. He's under fire from Richard Woods in 268. They slide wide, and behind Jason Eaton in 448 goes for a spin. Sparks flying there as they bounce off each other down the straight. Martin Spires attacking Nigel Harry there, out of turn 1 and 2. The back of Dutchmen battling with each other. Sjaak Kenty, I can see they're attacking Jan Kluk, the former Bangor racer in 152. Race at Emmen Speedway in the Bangors and very north of Holland. 338 and Chris Broxop attacking Nigel Harry, moving up the order fairly rapidly, the Leicester driver, as Harry bounces off the fence, coming out of turn 2. Aaron Cousins trying to rejoin, but not having much luck. The cars run wide there around turns 1 and 2 around the plate fence. It's France who leads, Chadwick trying to close in. Romke Groendijk is now up into third place, Woods, Spires and Broxop in the second half of this race now. We'll see the lap boards out from the start marshal on the home straight very shortly. Broxop under fire from Richard Woods into turns 1 and 2. Dave Willis stranded there on the inside in 337. Elliot Smith has done the fastest lap of the race in 293. No stopping Jack France in 216, heading for the second win of his Brisca F1 career. A tangle there on the outside of turn 2. Steve North going in way too quickly there. Has to take avoiding action. That's the tangle between Jason Eaton and Jan Kluk on the outside of turn 2. 2 laps to go now for Jack France, our race leader, son of Graham France, who raced under the same number. Mark Sargent attacks Martin Chadwick and ends up parked on his bonnet. Goodness me, interesting place to park there, Mark. 451 Martin Spires separates them. Gives them a bit of a thump on turn 2, but away goes Jack France in 216, keeping his head while all around him are losing theirs. It's going to be a clear win for the 216 car if he just negotiates this final lap without a problem. Not to fall over any back markers here. He's coming in to take the win. Jack France takes the checkered flag, second win of his Brisca F1 career. For the full results very shortly then. 267 Graham Robson attacking Russell Cooper in 415 into the final turn under the Kings Lynn floodlights. Jack France celebrates his second win, picking up exactly where he left off in his last meeting where he won the Grand National at Bellevue. Straight back into winning form here at Kings Lynn. He won't have that white roof for long, taking the win well clear of Chris Broxop, over 5 seconds ahead of the 338 car. Nigel Harry taking third ahead of top Dutchman number 14 Rick Vobers. Martin Chadwick surviving that tangle with Mark Sargent to take 5th place ahead of Romke Groendijk. A total of 19 of the 24 starters went the distance in that one. Broxop got the fastest lap. Into the main body of the programme now then. Heat number 1 sees 23 cars on track. The world champion is out there, 445 Nigel Green. Also got 217 Lee Fairhurst to watch for from the back. 259 of Paul Hines. Chris Broxop is out in this one as well. We've got Frankie JJ, Frankie Wainman Junior. Matt Newson's out there as well. Bradley Harrison in 25, Carl Hawkins 175, just some of the names to watch out for in this one. There are the shootout superstars on the back. Nigel Green with the gold roof in the middle of them. We're on board with Ben Riley in 422, the Rainmaster as he's become known. So dry conditions here at Kingsley tonight, windy but dry. There is the man with the gold roof, 445, Nigel Green, brilliant win at Ipswich just a few weeks ago. Away we go then, 16 laps for heat number 1. As 10 finishers go through to the final. Number 80, Stephen North, would have led into the first turn. He's clobbered a marker tie, gets hit in turn by number H30, I think that was, Ronke Kroendijk. Cars scattering in their wake. Riley loses out to Nigel Green, who's going charging after his opposition very rapidly here. Quite a few cars caught up in that mayhem on the first turn caused by the spinning Steve North. Matt Newson chasing us there in the number 16. The race starts to settle in, then early leader is Martin Chadwick in number 74 in one of Matt Newson's many hire cars. Here he comes off turn 4 and he's built up quite a lead as a result of that early chaos. At turn 4 there, it's Kroendijk chasing, then we've got Jason Eaton in 448. He's on further back, Chris Brock's up his 4th, Richard Wood's 5th, and Neil Scriven, the leading blue top, in 6th position. Nigel Green's already into the top 10. There is Lee Fairhurst, 217, attacking Jeff Nichols in 215, 337, slowing up there on the outside, Dave Willis. Green flinging it around the outside line. Riley under fire from Will Yarrow in number 22, the superstar grey light flashing away there on top of Ben Riley's cab. Next rounds of the shootout are on tracks he enjoys at Birmingham and Northampton. Green again using the outside line to good effect as Jason Eaton gets spun aside there. He gets clobbered by Will Yarrow and he's been collected in turn by 207 of Ben Herdman. Martin Chadwick's got away in front. Could we see a surprise here? Martin looking for his first Brisca F1 race win. Nigel Green is the fastest man on track, chasing after the number 30 of Ronke Kroendijk. The Dutch driver there, straight up the inside, slices past him, going into turn 3. Next target's the man from Gloucestershire, number 11, Neil Scriven. Scriven brothers, Neil and Michael, of course, tarmac specialists, Hensford and Ipswich. Can win on the shale as well. Chadwick leading Chris Brock's by just over a second now. Neil Scriven 3rd, Nigel Green already up to 4th, not even halfway yet. The fastest men on tarmac and shale this year, showing us why he has that gold roof from the world champion. Matt Newson in behind him in number 16. Then it's Ben Riley, Kroendijk, Ben Herdman a lap down after that crash earlier on. The Union flag now goes out for Martin Chadwick in number 74, continuing to lead the way. Lee Fairhurst in 217, he's got past Kroendijk. Frankie JJ gets spun around there, nice 360. Spun out by Jeff Nichols, and he's instantly recovered it. There goes Green, he's closing on. Chris Brock's up for 2nd place now. Round turns 1 and 2, they'll both slide out a bit wide. Now the back straight on the power, he's near 700 horsepower Chevrolet V8 engines. There goes the leader, Martin Chadwick, he's still about a quarter of a lap up. 5 laps to go this time, and a good dodge there, Nigel Green, as the 338 of Chris Brocksoff spun out Wayne Marshall. He managed to dodge to the inside and he's got through for 2nd place. That could have been disastrous for Green. And Matt Newson pulling up there in number 16 as well. He's out of the race. So now Chadwick with Green chasing him down. There's clear track between them. Are we going to see a shock here? Can the white grader hold off the world champion to take the win? There's 2 seconds in it, but less than 5 laps to go now. Brocksoff is 3rd. Behind Nigel Green there. There is the gap, you can see it visually. Tim Chadwick continuing to lead the way, looking for his first ever Brisca F1 victory. World champion Nigel Green chasing him. Also the European champion this year, won that at Northampton. He's in double-figure final wins on the tarmac. Can he take a win on shale tonight? The leader's got some back marker traffic ahead of him now. Down the back straight, lapping 268, that's Richard Woods. Here's a battle between Ben Riley and Neil Scriven. This is for 4th place. There's a bit of place swapping going on there. The plain blue of Neil Scriven has a look at the inside. Riley's just about got the edge on him there into turns 3 and 4. Very close between the two of them for 3rd and 4th places. But up front, Nigel Green has now just about caught Martin Chadwick. We're going into the final lap. Chadwick's running wide into turn 1. Green up the inside. He's going to snatch the lead out of turn 2. Green's got him. Martin Chadwick, is he going to fight back into the final turn? He's trying to, he just can't quite keep the pace. Just pipped at the post by Nigel Green. Green takes the win. Chadwick a brilliant drive for second place, and who's got third place? It's Chris Broxop ahead of Neil Scriven and Ben Riley. Good race there for the minor placing. But well done, Martin Chadwick. That's a superb drive, just missing out on the win. He couldn't quite hold back the gold top. Nigel Green wins by less than a second ahead of Martin Chadwick. Broxop in third ahead of Scriven and Riley. Lee Fairhurst and Paul Hines 6th and 7th. 15 of the 23 starters went the distance in that one. Nigel Green also got the fastest lap of the race.
4:45, Nigel Green, Heat 1 winner. Fair to say the shootout's not quite gone your way yet.
No, but I've had a good run, haven't I, this year? I'm leading the overall points. I've got the highest average. Won 2 big titles, so I've had a great run. And stock car racing so competitive, you can't just be at the top and stay at the top all year. It's just not like that. So no, the ambition at the start of the year was the silver and the shootout, but it's just not worked out for us. But the sort of the consolation, if you could call it that, is having a gold roof on the car. So yeah, I've got a bit to do.
Yeah, I've got to say the shootout's not over yet, and you might just sneak in under the radar with a few more results like that.
Well, it's the grading system again that works great with oval racing, where now even in the shootout I'm still starting at the back, but I'm further forward within the shootout races, so it just gives you that bit of a benefit at the start, and if you've got pace you can get away. So yeah, rather than sitting back waiting for stuff to happen, now you can make it happen by starting further forward, and yeah, to take the win in that one was good.
And now you've got the benefit, like you said, with the way the points are graded for the shootouts, you know who you've got to beat.
Yeah, obviously I want to win. I'm not interested in second and third, and I just want to get out there and win and win the shootout. But if I can't win the shootout, I want to win the races I'm in, so I'm not interested in racing for points to finish third in it or wherever. So we're going to get the hammer down and stick the bumper in and try and entertain a few people while we've got this roof.
That's the way to be. Best of luck.
Thanks. We need to get the car going a bit quicker first though, because it was a right handful in that one.
The other half of the entry now out on track for heat number 2. British champion Frankie Wainman Jr. and 390 Stuart Smith, the National Points Championship Shootout Series leader, out in this one. Danny Wainman in 212 out there as well. Others to look for include 326 Mark Sargent. Jack Francis out there as well, our white and yellow and Dutch race winner. There's Craig Finnegan in 55, along with Smith and Junior Wainman at the back. Graham Robson electing to start from the back on his return to racing here tonight, been helping his daughter Molly Robson in the mini stocks this year. It's Danny Wainman, number 212, brother of Junior Wainman, of course, in 515. Mark Gilbank is out there in 21, 220 of Will Hunter. We've rid of 21 cars in total for this heat number 2, 10 to qualify to the final. Away we go, and it's Jack Franz who will once again lead them off. In number 216, 451, Martin Spires in second place. Bit of push and shove there among the yellow tops and the blue tops as well. Michael Scriven under fire in the number 12. Somebody spun around there. That's 604, Stefan van Rossum, the Dutchman. A push and shove there as we look back from Stuart Smith in 390. And that's the normal view of his rivals he's had during this shootout series, looking back at them. Well clear at the top of the points. There's a marker tyre on track there because Aaron Cousins in number 76 has spun into it there on turn 4. He's lodging that tyre. Stuart Smith already making up the place. He's got past Mark Gilbank. He's past Michael Scriven in number 12. There are the Wainman brothers. Danny ahead of Junior Wainman down into turn 3. Jack Franz with the early lead up front in 216. He's getting shoved wide there. Russell Cooper tangles up with Elliot Smith. That's the steamroller of Finnegan and Mark Gilbank, I think, pushing their way through. Wainman side by side further back. Bit of smoke there from number 12, Michael Scriven. Brother Neil battling away in the previous heat. Settle in then to this heat number 2. Jack Franz leading the way in 216. Stuart Smith now attacking Dutchman Rick Bobers in the number H14 car. Ahead of them is 295, another Dutchman of Willem's favour. H295 car. Stuart Smith monstering up behind them though. There is Rick Bobus. Comes back in H14. Laps completed now with Jack Franz in the lead. Here comes Finnegan up behind Stuart Smith in the 55. Across the line they go. Rick Bobus behind them. think we've lost Jack France. I caught a glimpse of him on the infield there. Yes, there's the 216 car. We just glimpsed him parked up on the centre. So we've lost our early leader with car problems, and it's now Martin Spires, number 451, who has got the lead ahead of Mark Sargent in 326. Main focus is on this terrific midfield battle, 3 wide there out of turn 2. Williams Favour drops back behind Stuart Smith. Now behind them is Finnegan in 55 and Mark Gilbank. A real fast and furious fight for the minor placing. This is carrying them very rapidly up the order to challenge the leaders. Spires who leads from Sargent, Mark Woodhull in 335 in third, Smith and Finnegan fighting hammer and tongs for fourth place, and the bumper goes in there from Craig Finnegan. He goes through up into fourth place. Not often we see Stuart Smith overtaken during the Spintex National Points Championship Shootout Series. This is round 7 tonight. Craig Finnegan with the fastest lap of the race. He is flying in that 55. Two leaders, Spires and Sargent, together into turn 1. Mark Woodhull in third, the blue grader, and we've got Finnegan leading Smith in the next battle. Behind them, Mark Gilbank in the 21. This is fantastic so far into the second half then of this heat. Number 2, Martin Spires under fire from the lead. Mark Sargent on the attack, the East Coast legend as he's known, and they've tangled coming into turns 1 and 2. That's end of game for those two. 335 Mark Woodhull has taken over, but here comes Finnegan. Up the inside, he's going to go from 4th to 1st in a single lap. Terrific driving by Craig Finnegan. He passes Mark Woodhull into turn 3. With 5 laps to go, it's Finnegan up front. Can Stuart Smith catch him? 335 in third place, Mark Woodhull, then Mark Gilbank as Sargent and Spires try to rejoin a lap down. Here comes Mark Gilbank in 21, a recent double winner at Sheffield in an earlier round of the National Points Championship Shootout Series. It's 55 Craig Finnegan who leads the way now. That's racing, of course, sponsored by Neil Stuxbury Motors, Mintex Braking Systems, the sponsors of the National Points Championship this year. Stuart Smith in second, Gilbank third, and Junior Wayneman having a relatively quiet race up into 5th now behind Mark Woodhull. Dodge a couple of stranded cars there. Wayneman goes through to 4th, coming out of turn 2. Leaders coming up to lap Graham Robson. There's a bit of a chicane on turn 4, that tyre that was dislodged on the first couple of laps of this race. Missing a couple of stationary cars there, Dutchman Williams Favour and Joran Vinan stuck there. They're coming round to start the last lap this time. Craig Finnegan looking good here. Can Stuart Smith catch him? Russell Cooper about to be lapped ahead of them in 4.15. He lets the leader through, and it's going to be a win for 55 Craig Finnegan. Smith is not going to catch him on this final turn. It's number 55 Craig Finnegan comes in for an excellent victory. Second place goes to Smith and Gilbank in third. The rest of the places shortly. I think it was Junior Wayneman in 4th position. A cracking race there. Finnegan going from 4th to 1st in just 1 lap, helped by that tangle between the early leaders. Finnegan the winner, less than a second ahead of Stuart Smith. Gilbank third ahead of Junior Wayneman, Mark Woodhull, Danny Wayneman and Will Hunter. 13 cars went the distance in that one out of the 21 who started. Craig Finnegan also got the fastest lap in addition to his victory. Cracking heat number 2.
55 Craig Finnegan, winner of heat 2 and quite a commanding drive.
Yeah, got a bit of trouble mid-race with a few back markers, and lucky enough we got tangled free in the end up and away we went.
The track looks perfect tonight, the racing's really fast.
Yeah, it is really fast, but we seem to be running very wide to get the drive early on in the race and then slowly come back down towards the middle of the track at the end of the race.
And for a shootout round, it hasn't kicked off yet, and I think everybody's expecting it to any time round about now. Maybe the final's the one.
I think it's going to get close soon, yeah. But I think everybody's just trying to survive and get the points how they can and just settle for them places at the moment.
Well, best of luck, and we might speak again later.
Thank you very much, we'll try.
Now time for the Consolation race. The first 12 from this race go through into the finals, join the top 10 from the heats, and we have 23 cars on track for this one, including Matt Newson starting from the back, but he will start as the favourite here. Failed to finish in his heats. Mainly lower graders he's up against here. We have got a couple of red tops though. Frankie JJ, Frankie Wayneman Jr. is there. Ben Herdman as well in number 207. They hit problems in their heats. Graham Robson starting behind them in 267. Other names to watch include quite a few of the Dutch drivers in this one. We've got Siak Kenty out there, Jan Kluk, Michael Scriven's out in this one, and Will Yarrow, number 22, is there as well. The back of the blue tops, Willem Sveva ahead of them. Mark Sargent is out there in 3.26. His attack for the lead in heat number 2 on Martin Spires went horribly wrong, as we saw. Away we go then for 16 laps of action. Who's going to get the early lead? Well, Richard Woods won't be. He's gone around there on the first turn, tangling there with H295 of Willem Sveva. As the race settles in, it's Jack France who has once again taken the lead, pulled up while leading his heat. That was heat number 2. Matt Newson already making up the places, gets past the 22 of Will Yarrow. It's Jack France with the early lead ahead of H30 of Romke Kruijndijk in second place. Turns 1 and 2 they cut. Third place Aaron Cousins in the number 76. Mason Eaton up there as well in 4.48. Yarrow battling away with the treble 5 of Frankie JJ. Newson already carving through the places, gets past Rick Bobus there in H14, the turquoise livery car. Out of turn 4 down the home straight. H179, Siak Kenty on the back of Michael Scriven. And Newson just sliding effortlessly past a number of cars there. Mark Sargent getting the bumper in on Jason Eaton, and he spins around again. He's certainly the spin doctor here tonight. There's about 4 or 5 spins he's had in his 3 races so far. Matt Newson now attacking Michael Scriven. Into the fence goes Siak Kenty in H179, and Newson by far the fastest man on track. Could he come through from last to first and take the win here? His next target is Martin Spires. Lost Wayne Marshall there in 4.83 on turn 4. It's Jack France still up front. Aaron Cousins giving chase along with Romke Kruijndijk. So it's Mike Graders all the way. Eaton's gone again on that turn 4. 76 of Aaron Cousins. There's Kruijndijk in third, leading this gaggle of cars. Behind him is the 575, which is Joran Bijnans. Then Mark Sargent. 604 is next, that's Stefan van Rossum. Newson in behind them, being chased by Jan Klok in H152. They slide out wide. Martin Spires getting caught up with them as well. Newson just blasting his way through everybody. Van Rossum gets spun around and around and around down the home straight. A fair share of spin doctors in this one. Matt Newson now fires the 575 car into a little gaggle of cars there, and in we go, wallop straight into the back of Wayne Marshall. Now that was 575 of Winans, and I think also taken out there was Romke Kruijndijk, the yellow and blue car there, number H30. Rick Bobus pulls off as well. In the middle of all that, the half-distance flag has gone out. 216 Jack France, your leader. Oh, he's clipped a back marker there. That's Winans. He's clipped there in H575, and he could lose the lead because here comes Aaron Cousins. He's going to dive underneath him down the back straight, and Cousins takes the lead. It's only about his second or third appearance of the season. France fighting back. Gerolf says Aaron Cousins as they come round turn 4. And Cousins leads, looking for his first win of the season. Martin Spires, I think that is who spun out there on turn 2. Lively consolation event. Don't forget the first 12 finishers go through into the final as Ben Herdman getting to grips with Will Yarrow. They nearly collide with Martin Spires. Will Yarrow must have been thinking, well, which side of him do you want me to go then? As they went either side of the 451 car. I thought they were going to collide head on with it. So we're into the final 5 laps now of this very lively consolation event. Certainly an entertaining race this has been. It's Aaron Cousins still leading it, but where is Matt Newson? He's been the star man in this one. Closing in on Jack France, no doubt, for second place. Cousins is away and clear. Not seen much of him this year. Looks like he is heading for his first win of the season. Jack France is still second, holding on ahead of Matt Newson at the moment. Then it looks like Mark Sargent next in the order in 3.26. The East Coast legend, as he calls himself. Red Entertainer is Mark. His Cousins out front, then avoids that stranded cars on turn 4. That's Kruijndijk and Marshall. Newson chasing, I think he's up in the second now. Yes, he's got ahead of Jack France. He's not going to catch Aaron Cousins, just a couple of laps left to run now. The race quietening down in its closing stages, likely because we've lost about half the entry onto the infield or into the fence. Looks Faber's car stranded there, looking a bit broken on turn 2. Here comes Cousins round to start his final lap this time. Nobody anywhere near him. Here comes Newson. Passing one of the back markers there. 575 of Joran Winans goes a lap down. And Newson looks like he's going to have to settle the second place, though. He's well behind the number 76 of Aaron Cousins. He's going to get the fastest lap of the race as Consolation, but Cousins takes his first win of the season. Second place goes to Matt Newson. Wait confirmation of who's going to be third. I think it's Jack France in 216. We'll confirm that officially in a moment. We'll see who the top 12 are who go through. Well done, Aaron Cousins, taking the win. Red flags will go out to end our Brisca Formula 1 Stock Cars Consolation event here at the Adrian Flux Arena. The win going to Aaron Cousins ahead of Matt Newson. We can't tell you the winning margin, unfortunately, because the winner's transponder was not working. Jack France third ahead of Mark Sargent. Gert-Jan Kluk, the top Dutchman, in fifth. Outside the top 10, Joran Winans and Graham Robson, the other qualifiers. The only other finisher was Stephen North. So 13 cars go the distance, and Cousins got the fastest lap.
76, Aaron Cousins, Consolation winner. That was a nice fast race.
Yeah, enjoyed that. I thought I was going to struggle to catch Jack France in front there. He seemed like he was miles away, but I think he made a bit of a mistake down the bottom corner here, which let me on to him, and he tried to come back, but I got out in front, and that was it. Don't look back.
And it's nice for lower graders to win races anywhere, but to win it at your home track and on a shootout round, that's even more special.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. It means a lot, to be honest. We struggled with the start of the meeting with a lot of handling issues and haven't finished a race yet, so that was a bonus as well.
And now you've got the final to face with all the shootout boys. You're at the front, run.
Yeah, let's get going.
Well, best of luck.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Typically lively and entertaining action so far then on the Adrian Flux Arena Shale. Join us for more Brisca Formula 1 action from round 7 of the Mintex National Points Championship Shootout Series very shortly, coming up after this break from the Brisca F1s and the V8 Hot Stocks. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Adrian Flux Arena here in Kings Lynn, round 7 of the Mintex National Points Championship Shootout stage for the Brisca Formula 1 stock cars. Some cracking action we have seen so far under the Kings Lynn floodlights. We're going to continue now with the support formula tonight, the V8 Hot Stocks Rover V8 engined cars for their meeting final, and we join it midway through with number 490 Craig Thompson out in the lead at the halfway mark, under fire from Craig Smith in 187. The heats earlier on won by 211 Phoebe Wainman and by number 77 Rudy Colino. We saw the world champion number 1 Adam Joyce recently retain that title at Buxton. Craig Smith up the inside in 187. The former European champion takes over the lead from Craig Thompson, the former Rebel star. Bumpers going in there, Sam B attacking, and wallop straight in goes Guy Jolly, tangling up there with Martin Fletcher in the 482 car. Going through his 298s, the new under-25 champion Tom Spencer, won that recently at Northampton. World final saw Adam Joyce, number 1, retain his gold roof. There he is with the gold roof just ahead of Phoebe Wainman in 211, looking for a heat and final double here. Ollie Spencer behind her in 498. It's Craig Smith in the 187 car, pulling away from Craig Thompson. See Craig and his brother Steve, the former UK Open champion in Brisca F1 out here. There's Kev Stutchbury, the former world champion in 131. Of course, the Stutchbury family sponsoring the Formula 1 stock car action tonight. Neil Stutchbury Motors, the sponsors of Shootout Series round 7. In the second half then of this final for the V8 Hot Stocks, and it is still Craig Smith out in front in car number 187. Ollie Spencer dispatches a couple of cars there, chased by number 131 of Kevin Stutchbury. Tangle up there, and Craig Thompson, oh, a wall of death, very nicely indeed, around the wall there on turns 3 and 4. I thought Craig Thompson was going to be dumped onto his side then. The 298 of Tom Spencer is hitting everything inside, but he gets spun out now by Michael Boswell in 328. Nearly into the side of him goes David Sharp in number 63. 465 Jedster, cast is slow up there. Plenty of entertainment here in this final for the V8 Hot Stocks, the Rover V8 engine beasts, as opposed to the Chevrolets in the Brisca Formula 1 stock cars. Craig Smith well out in front now in car 187. Smoke there from, I think that's Phoebe Wainman's car. She's in trouble. Looks like the engine has let go in Phoebe's car, sadly. Ollie Spencer slowing as well in 498. In fact, they're dropping like flies in the closing stages of this V8 Hot Stocks meeting final. Michael Boswell still going though, chasing Kev Stutchbury. That's the battle for 6th place. Not many cars left behind them though. as Tom Spencer spins out, coming into turn 3, goes a lap down to our race leader, or doesn't go a lap down because he rejoins right in front of him. Craig Smith pings him wide, coming down the home straight. He's heading for the win. Maybe Wainman has pulled up on turn 2. Sam Mee, number 450, is in second place. It's John Brown in third, further back in 288s there. Well spaced out now, coming into the final lap of this final for the V8 hot stocks. It's Craig Smith heading for the victory in the Brisca built car, coming off turn 2, down the back straights for the final time. It's going to be a win for the former European champion. 187. Craig Smith comes in to take the win, just ahead of Sam Mee in 450. John Brown will take third in 288, and the world champion Adam Joyce takes fourth. The rest of the results in just a moment, but a race of attrition there for the V8 hot stocks. Plenty of hard hitting, a bit of two-wheeled action as well. Smith the winner by 0.7 of a second ahead of Sam Mee, with John Brown taking third ahead of Adam Joyce, and Steve Thompson finishing ahead of Stutchbury and Boswell. A total of 13 cars went the distance in that race out of the 20 who started. John Brown in third place got the fastest lap. Moving on to the final for the Brisca Formula 1 stock cars, then sponsored by Neil Stutchbury Motors. Round 7 of the Mintex National Points Championship shootout stage. All 32 qualifiers are out there on the grid. This should be a cracking race. We've got all the big names there. Craig Finnegan and Nigel Green, our earlier heat winners. The Consolation won by Aaron Cousins, number 76. Stuart Smith is there. The Wainmans, Mark Gilbank. This is going to be a belter of a 20-lap race on the Adrian Flux Arena Shale. I'm really looking forward to this one. We always see Brisca F1 at its best here at Kings Lynn. Could we see a surprise from the white graders? We've had a win for Aaron Cousins, we've had a win for Jack France in the white and yellow grade race. We nearly had a win for Martin Chadwick in one of the heats in number 74. Then the revs beginning to rise, the green flag's about to go down. 20 laps of Brisca Formula 1 action. Here we go. Martin Chadwick leads them off in number 74 already. We've got a pile up among the blue graders, and we've got one over. Now who's that's gone over onto his side there at turn 4? That's going to be a race stoppage. The red flag is out. Trying to work out who that is. I think it's Sjaak Kenty, the Dutchman in H179, who's ridden up the fence and fallen over onto his side. The race has been stopped straight away in the interests of safety, and will be a full restart. The grid will be formed up again. Just checking that it is Sjaak Kenty is okay. Just the blue graders all went wide. It was Michael Scriven spinning out that forced them out wide, and then up and over onto his side went Sjaak Kenty, the Dutchman in H179. The marshals repositioning his car. Full credit to all the marshals here at Kings Lynn. We couldn't go racing without them. Sjaak Kenty's okay, he's out of the car. I predict a riot on the PA system from the stadium DJ. Looks like we've already got one, never mind predicting one. Is there going to be another riot on this restart then? Over the full distance of 20 laps. Grid formed up once more. Take 2 with our meeting final. We've lost Sjaak Kenty, he won't take the restart. We've lost a couple of other cars as well. Here they come then round towards the green once again. We get underway for the second time of asking with our Brisca F1 meeting final here at shootout stage round 7. Martin Chadwick leads them into the first hill. Already a couple of spinners. One of them is Mark Woodhull. I think the other is Frankie JJ, possibly in the treble 5 car. They file their way into the first turn, and we've got another one over on turns 1 and 2. A pile up on the outside. Now who is that? Will Hunter's in there as well. Frankie JJ's in there in treble 5. I've been told it's Bobby Griffin in 166 who has rolled over there. So we have another red flag, another first lap stoppage. What's got into these drivers tonight? 2 rollovers in the first lap of each attempt at this final. It's Craig Finnegan who spun out earlier on that restart. Yes, Bobby Griffin again just rode up the fence and over he went after being sent wide, and everybody else was piling in behind. Bob Griffin, the former national mini stocks gold top, on his side there. A battered aerofoil, I think, the main extent of the damage. We've lost a fair few cars. Paul Hines out of the race in 259. He's had not much luck at all this season. Lee Fairhurst out as well in 217, along with several others. We've lost Matt Newson, Danny Wainman, Carl Hawkins, Michael Scriven, Aaron Cousins, Ben Herdman, and Joran Vinans as well as our 2 rollovers. So plenty of cars missing from the grid for this restart. I think we're down to about 23 cars for the single file restart by my head count of this grid. Here we go then, looking back from Stuart Smith. Spent most of this shootout stage of the National Points Championship looking back at his rivals, looking for another final win here as the throttles go down, and we are underway once again. A single file restart this time. Smith under attack from Wainman. They go past a couple of blue tops there, James Morris and the 22 of Will Yarrow. Somebody slow away there, that is the number 12 of Michael Scriven. Looks like he's got some damage. Nigel Green under fire from Junior Wainman in the 515 car. Down the back straight they go. Nigel Green attacking Stuart Smith. He gets a tap in there. Danny Wainman, wallop straight in he goes, and almost does a Craig Thompson there, riding up the fence. I thought he was going to roll over as well. And I predict Orion was the song before this race, and we have certainly got one. Stuart Smith now attacking Craig Finnegan there on the back of Mark Gilbank in number 21. Nigel Green has another go at Stuart Smith. He needs to strike early here to stop Smith getting away. There's our two leaders. Martin Chadwick up front ahead of Mark Sargent. Chris Broxop is in third place, then Gert-Jan Klok, the Dutchman, fourth. Craig Finnegan is up to fifth, so the shootout superstars coming through very quickly indeed. 5.75 of Joran Vinans goes a lap down, managed to take the restart. I thought he pulled out. He's back in there. Again, Nigel Green doesn't quite manage to get the bumper in on Stuart Smith. He needs to fairly quickly here to get an attack in on the man who's dominated this shootout stage of the Mintex National Points Championship so far. Back from Smith, there is the world champion behind us. The race has settled down somewhat now after those chaotic early stages. Battle between Smith, Green, Finnegan behind them, and then we've got Junior Wainman, the British champion with the black and white checkered roof in 515. They go past Neil Scriven in number 11. Not a happy race this one for the Scriven brothers. Saw Michael in trouble early on. Both still circulating though. Now coming up on Carl Hawkins in 175 as Wainman leads Finnegan wide there on turn 3, makes the place. Towards the halfway stage, looking back from the number 422 of Ben Riley. Still leading the way, it's Martin Chadwick, and Ben Riley just avoiding a spun car there out of turn 2, just managed to nip past on the outside. Here are the leaders. Martin Chadwick has run a bit wide out of turn 2, avoiding a slowing car, and through goes Mark Sargent. Into the lead goes the Lincolnshire driver. Always an entertainer is the East Coast legend. He now leads the way coming out of turn 4. Green still attacking, and Chris Broxop rejoined right across the bows there of Gert-Jan Klok in 152. That could have been nasty. Broxop now in between Smith and Green, gets out of Nigel Green's way there off turn 4. Now these two coming up on Gert-Jan Klok, the Dutchman, in 152. Giving a very good account of himself. I think it's his first time racing at Kings Lynn tonight. The attack there, Mark Gilbank on the back of Ben Riley, who we ride with. Superstar lights flashing away on the 422 car. A great season Ben Riley has had, but he gets walloped straight in there by Mark Gilbank. Cuts back out again, stays ahead. It's Finnegan chasing down Wainman. Stuart Smith, not surprisingly, has done the fastest lap of the race. Wainman attacks Chris Broxop in 338. Finnegan looking for a revenge hit on Wainman for earlier on, and Gert-Jan Klok puts away Will Hunter in 220 there into turn 1. Hunter recovers, and will probably go for a revenge shot on the Dutchman. He's going to attack here into turn 3. He's up the inside, and wallop straight in we go. There's the equaliser from Will Hunter. It's England 1, Holland 1. Goodness me, that was a hard hit from Will Hunter. I remember him doing that to Danny Wainman at Northampton a few years ago with such force that he flipped him over. Still leading the way is Mark Sargent in 326. The forceful driver is Will Hunter, as we saw there. Instant revenge on Gert-Jan Klok. The hit of the race so far. Meantime, Stuart Smith is trying to catch our race leaders. I think he's caught them while that was going on, and yes, he is through into the lead now. So Martin Chadwick and Mark Sargent up there. Is it Sargent still in the lead? Smith is up there chasing Mark Sargent. No, apologies, it is still Mark Sargent in the lead ahead of Stuart Smith. Martin Chadwick under fire from Craig Finnegan further back. Will pick up the leaders in just a moment. Nigel Green is next through. Chadwick is falling back now. Good effort though tonight by the white grader. Came close to winning his heat. Smith reeling off the fastest lap times. Let's see if he can take another win. He's caught Mark Sargent now. There is the East Coast legend still out in front. He's about to lose his lead, I do believe, because there goes Smith up the inside. This time he's got him. And into the lead goes Stuart Smith in 3.90, looking to extend his points lead still further. Here he comes, 2 laps to go. Sargent second, Green in third. Then we've got Finnegan and Wainman still together in 4th and 5th places. Race calming down slightly in its closing stages after some very hard hits early on. And we're into the last lap now. Stuart Smith in 3.90. So the greatest stock car racer of them all, Stuart Smith Senior, is going to take a clear win. Mark Sargent still in second. Craig Finnegan doing the fastest lap of the race there late on. But it's a win for Stuart Smith, and he'll extend his points lead at the top of the National Points Championship still further. Second place goes to Mark Sargent. Nigel Green looks like his engine blew as he crossed the line there for third place. Then Finnegan, Wainman, and the rest of them come through. No stopping Stuart Smith in that meeting final, sponsored by Neil Stutchbury Motors. He takes the win. Mark Sargent was docked 2 places there, from 2nd to 4th for jumping a restart. So it's Nigel Green second and Craig Finnegan in 3rd place. Mark Sargent docked to 4th ahead of Junior Wainman. Total of 16 cars went the distance in that one. Fastest lap went to Craig Finnegan.
3.90, Stuart Smith, final winner. You're getting closer.
Yeah, another final in the bag. The car were good then, better than it were in the heat. And just doing my job, really. Just keep plucking away.
We did think you might have been a target in that race, and other drivers should really have took the opportunity to get you, but you just drove away from everybody. The car's got phenomenal drive.
Yeah, it's easy to say that watching, you know, just throw your car at somebody and try and stop them, but when you it's harder for them when I'm as quick as I am, because I know what it's like when somebody's a lot quicker than you. By the end of the straight there's an extra car length between you, so, and you can get it wrong if you're coming from a slower position, but you know, I think they are trying. I just think that things are going my way at the minute. Hopefully it'll continue.
You're certainly around Kings Lynn now this season. You and this track, you're married.
Yeah, we've had a love-hate relationship. I feel like I'm married to it, yeah. But no, it's a brilliant track. I said it on the microphone then. It's the best track in the country, and yeah, it's a little bit quirky with the watering. We've said all that. It's all said and done. But the racing it's generated, and to do it in front of a great crowd tonight with the saloons, it's brilliant. That's how it should be.
And now you're going to start a lap down in the Grand National. You'll be able to make up some places, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so. I think hopefully we need a few yellow flags. If I get them, lucky enough to get them, I'll try and get a top 10 anyway. If there is no yellows, I think I'm quick enough to do that, but you do need a little bit of luck all the time. I don't want to use all my luck up yet though.
Biggest grid of the night on track length, 34 cars for the Brisca F1 Grand National. The shootout superstars will be out there for this one, including Stuart Smith going from the lap handicap as the final winner, of course. Saw ultra lively action in the final, but even bigger grid this time. This one is going to be chaos, I reckon. Red Graders headed round there by the 207 of Ben Herdman. Here come the shootout superstars towards the back. Good to see Bobby Griffin back out there, number 166 after his rollover, minus his aerofoil. Jack Kenty's back out there as well, the other man who ended up on his side in the meeting final. Ben Riley heads the shootout superstars around along with Paul Hines. Nigel Green's in there as well. They start in reverse points order with Stuart Smith starting from the very back of the grid. Okay, here we go already, the blue graders pushing and shoving. Here we go for 16 laps of action, 34 cars out there. Already Ben Riley under fire from Nigel Green as the shootout superstars get together. Bobby Griffin spun already in the aerofoil-less 166 car. Lost Bradley Harrison in 25, into the fence goes Jack Kenty, and he gets walloped by Ben Riley in turn in 4.22. Typically lively start then. Rick Bobus under fire from Will Yarrow in the 22, back on board with Ben Riley, who survived that early shunt on the first turn. He's dropping back on the outside. He's got caught up in a pile-up on the outside of turn 4. More cars piling in on the home straight, riding up and over each other almost there. That was Frankie JJ and Ben Herdman. That's the second coming together that they've had tonight. My goodness, what a start. Your early leader is Jack France once again in 2.16. Bradley Harrison in the fence there on turn 3. A couple more cars stranded there as well. One of them Rick Bovers, I think, in H14. We lose the H575 car of Joran Vinant as well on turn 2 once again. He's not had much luck on his Kings Lynn debut. Looking back from Stuart Smith in 3.90, he's already made up some ground from his handicap. That's Graham Robson out wide there off turn 4. The caution flags are coming out. Yellow is out for Rick Bovers, stranded there on the outside of turn 4 in a dangerous position, so the pack will be brought under caution. I suspect we're going to see a bit of water go down. The water cart normally used as the pace vehicle here at Kings Lynn for restarts. So we'll see a bit of water go down the track. There's that pile-in on the outside. That's what claimed Ben Riley as well. You can see Rick Bovers was the man who got stuck there. The yellow is coming out to clear his car. You can see the track has been watered there on the inside. It's Jack France with the lead ahead of Martin Chadwick and Mark Sargent, being careful not to jump the restart this time. He lost a podium place in the final after that place docking. Off we go then. Good restart by Junior Wayman on the inside. Was already to the top 10. Not such a good restart for Aaron Cousins. Consolation's winner spins out. Ends up on the infield on turn 4. Lord with Stuart Smith carving through the places yet again. Everybody else fighting each other, and he just finds where the gap is. Lee Fairhurst spun in 2.17. He's having a rotten night. One of the main challengers to Stuart Smith in the National Points Championship this year. Nigel Green making his way up the order in 4.45. Fastest lap of the race by Junior Wayman in 5.15. He's going for the front. And Paul Hines chasing Stuart Smith. Really got past, I think, all the other shootout superstars from the lap down, with the exception of Junior Wayman. Danny Wayman in there in 2.12. Coming up towards the half-distance mark, then there is Smith. Here's our leaders. Once again, it's Jack France and Mark Sargent. And Sargent goes through to take over at the front of the field. Chadwick runs wide to Wayman third. Matt Newson up to fourth. Chris Broxop is fifth. The fastest lap of the race by Craig Finnegan. So what he could do in the heats earlier on. Men overall tonight behind Stuart Smith as Mark Sargent leads it. Martin Chadwick spins out there. All the leaders have been taken into a pile up there on turns 1 and 2. What happened there? We've lost our 2 leaders. That's going to put Junior Wayman into the lead of the race. We could see a caution here. There's about half a dozen cars piled up on turn 2. The half-distance flag out. Flames coming from Mark Sargent's exhaust pipe there. The marshals keeping an eye on that. Yes, I think the race is being stopped. Race is being stopped. I can see flames under Martin Chadwick's car as well. So the race stops to deal with a small fire on 2 cars there. Well, they were just bouncing off each other all the way through that one. Billy Johnson involved there, but Ben Herdman took a fearsome whack in the front wheel there from the H30 car. Bobby Griffin involved as well. My goodness, hard-hitting Grand National to say the least. See what happened up on turns 1 and 2. It was I think Bobby Griffin's car had spun there. The leaders tried to go around the outside, but there wasn't room for all of them, and that I think has claimed Nigel Green as well in 4.45. Yes, Green's out of it. He's on the centre, we can see him there. So it's Junior Wayman with the lead. Matt Newson in second. A lot of the shootout superstars besides them in trouble here. But on a freshly watered track once again, you can see Wayman keeping to the high line there on the outside, looking for grip on this restart. Here we go with the restarts. Back from Stuart Smith's car as everybody else again falls over each other. Chris Broxop has gone. Mark Gilbank hits a marker tyre straight into the front of Carl Hawkins there. Well, if you can't take him out with the bumper, just hit a tyre in front of everybody. He's taken out about 4 or 5 cars there. Wade Marshall's stuck on the home straight in 4.83. We're surely going to see another caution there. They say that caution flags breed caution flags. They're all over the place in this Grand National. More cars piling in on turn 2. Aaron Cousins is in there. The caution, yes, is out again. Matt Newson's car smoking rather heavily too. All this is playing into the hands of Stuart Smith, trying to come through from his lap handicap. There's the tangle that took out Wayne Marshall. He tangled with Chris Broxop, and there goes the tyre. Mark Gilbank fires it in front of everybody on turn 1. That's almost Dick Dastardly tactics there from Mark Gilbank. Wacky races to say the least. So Junior Wainman leads from Matt Newson behind him, and Stuart Smith is up to third from the lap handicap. We're only just over halfway. There is no stopping Stuart Smith in this National Points Championship shootout stage this year. He's up to third. Matt Newson's car is smoking, so I think his days are numbered in this race. Still giving it his all, though, as Matt always does. Then behind them, well, it's everybody else trying to be fourth, allowing this lot to get away. Junior Wainman, the British champion, 2 years running, leads the way. Last year's world champion, of course, won this in the what looks like the last ever world final at Coventry. Stuart Smith attacking Matt Newson. I think Newson, in fact, is a lap down. He's showing us a lap down on my timing screen. Still smoke coming from that car, so Smith is now in second place. Is Junior Wainman getting away by a little too much here? There's only going to be 4 laps to go this time. Craig Finnegan is up into third. Newson's engine is giving out, so he won't survive quite to the checkered flag, I don't think. Yeah, he pulls wide. Newson's dropping out of it. Goes between 3 of them for victory now, then Wainman, Smith and Finnegan. 3 of the greatest surnames in stock car racing over the years. Is Junior Wainman too far ahead now of Stuart Smith? Phenomenal effort by Stuart to move up from the handicap into second place. There really is no stopping him in the race for the silver this year. And to the penultimate lap we go then. That marker tyre is still there on the inside of turn 1, courtesy of Mr. Gilbank. Finnegan attacking Smith for second place. Into his final lap now, he's the British champion, Junior Wainman. To lap 4:15, Russell Cooper. Well, a real destructive race. We've got less than half of the starters still running. It's going to be a win for Junior Wainman. Stuart Smith is not going to catch him. Finnegan trying to catch Smith on the final turn, doesn't quite manage it. Junior Wainman takes the win. Stuart Smith second. Third place going to Craig Finnegan. Beyond that, we'll wait to confirm the rest of the results. It might be Danny Wainman through in 4th place there. Only half of the entry thereabouts get home. Junior Wainman takes the win in our Grand National. Had a quiet night up to now, but he wins by 1.3 seconds ahead of Stuart Smith. Finnegan third, Mark Gilbank 4th, and Danny Wainman rounding out the top 5. Another good result for Gert-Jan Kluk, the Dutchman, in 6th place. 16 of the 34 starters went the distance in that chaotic Grand National, and not surprisingly, it was Stuart Smith who got the fastest lap of the race.
5:15, Frankie Wainman. This shootout's not dead yet, is it?
Not quite, but Stuart's on it proper, and he is, you know what I mean? He's got it focused in his head, and you know, he's had me quite a few times through shootout. He seems to be oblivious to this, but you know, he's doing his job right, isn't he? From now, he just needs to keep his nose clean, keep out of trouble. At the end of the day, it's us that are trying to chase, but we're a long way behind now. He's had an awesome night tonight, drove right in his head, got all the results, and you know, we're still there, but it's hard.
Yeah, with the late yellow flags then, and Stuart in position, we thought this could be a barnstorming finish, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, we were trying to tyre in that, which it just kept going off a little bit, but obviously on the restarts it was back on again, and we just get that little gap away, and it was good. So yeah, I seen Stuart in the mirror, but to be honest, he'd have been daft to try anything, because seconds better than nothing, isn't it? And he only needs seconds. He outscored me by a lot because he's doubled his points. Do you know what I mean? So he's thinking a little bit now, I think, and he just needs to keep out of trouble.
Yeah, this might make him a bigger target on the tarmac next weekend, though.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. The problem is with the job, there's a lot of drivers in there, and nobody seems to be hitting him. You know what I mean? He just seems to be in a little world of his own, and on it, unfortunately, if you get that in the shootout, he's just going to run away with it. So,
well, we'll see what happens next weekend.
Yeah, it's a long weekend. You never know. You could have a nightmare of a weekend. You don't know. It's just a long weekend, and we'll see how we get onto it and plug away and get a few more places. So.
Well, best of luck, and we'll see you there.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at the National Points Championship shootout point standings. And well, Stuart Smith now over 100 points clear of Junior Wainman in second place, with poor nights for Lee Fairhurst and for Nigel Green towards the end of that one, dropping them back in third and fourth. Danny Wainman rounding out the top 5 ahead of Matt Newson and Craig Finnegan. But it's Smith's title to lose, in my opinion, this season for the Silver Roof. That's about all from the Adrian Flux Arena tonight. Some very lively race action indeed. Hope you've enjoyed it. Next time out, we're back on the tarmac at Birmingham. But for now, thanks for watching and goodbye.